Cree, Query, and Mysy Drolly by J. M. Barrie. The children used to fling stone at Grinder Query because he loves his mother. I never heard the grinder's real name. He and his mother were Query and Drolly, contemptuously so called, and they answered to these names. I remember Cree best a spattered old weaver, who bent forward as he walked, with his arms hanging limp as if ready to grasp the shaft of the barrel behind which it was his life to totter up hill and downhill, a rope of yarn suspended round his shaking neck and fastened to the shaft, assisting him to bear the yoke and slowly strangling him. By and by there came a time when the barrel and the weaver seemed both palsy-stricken, and Cree, gasping for breath, would stop in the middle of a brae, unable to push his load over a stone. Then he laid himself down behind it to prevent the barrel slipping back. On those occasions only the barefooted boys who jeered at the panting weaver could put new strength into his shriveled arms. They did it by telling him that he and Mysy would have to go to the poor's house after all, at which the great old man would wince as if joking from below, and shuddering rise and with a desperate effort gain the top of the incline. Small blame perhaps attached to Cree if, as he neared his grave, he grew a little dawdle. His loads of yarn frequently took him past the workhouse, and his eyelids quivered as he drew near. Boys used to gather round the gate in anticipation of his coming, and make a feint of driving him inside. Cree, when he observed them, sat down on his barrel shaft, terrified to approach, and I see them now pointing to the workhouse, till he left his barrel on the road and hobbled away, his legs cracking as he ran. It is strange to note that there was once a time when Cree was young and straight, a callant who wore a flower in his buttonhole and tried to be a hero for a maiden's sake. Before Cree settled down as a weaver, he was knife and scissor grinder for 3 counties. The Mysy, his mother, accompanied him wherever he went. Mysy trudged alongside him till her eyes grew dim and her limbs failed her, and then Cree was told that she must be sent to the pauper's home. After that a pitiable and beautiful sight was to be seen. Grinder Query, already a feeble man, would wheel his grindstone along the long high road, leaving Mysy behind. He took the stone on a few hundred yards, and then, hiding it by the roadside in a ditch or behind a paling, returned for his mother. Her he led, sometimes he almost carried her, to the place where the grindstone lay, and thus by double journeys kept her with him. Everyone said that Mrs. Death would be a merciful release. Everyone but Cree. Cree had been a grinder from his youth, having learned from the trade from his father, but he gave it up when Mysy became almost blind. For a time he had to leave her in Thrums with Daniel Wickie's wife, and find employment himself in Tulidrum. Mysy got me to write several letters for her to Cree, and she cried while telling me what to say. I never heard either of them use a term of endearment to the other, but all Mysy could tell me to put in writing was, "Oh, my son Cree! Oh, my beloved son! Oh, I have no one but you! Oh, thou God watch over my Cree!" On one of these occasions Mysy put into my hand a paper, which she said would perhaps help me to write the letter. It had been drawn up by Cree many years before, when he and his mother had been compelled to part for a time, and I saw